I have a confession to make. I am low-key obsessed with Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was a revolutionary inventor with a mind way ahead of its time. It's taken the world nearly 100 years to catch up to what this man had to offer. But what may surprise you about this fascinating man is how he came up with his ideas, or rather, how he received them. So based on the title of this video, you may be asking yourself, what does Nikola Tesla know about being psychic? Why Nikola Tesla never identified with being psychic per se, as I studied his writing and his autobiography, I came to the conclusion that he is clairvoyant, clairsentient, and possibly telepathic. In his autobiography, he tells this story from his childhood. He said that he would see quite vividly scenes before his eyes, accompanied by a flash of lightning. He said that these images were so real that it was hard to distinguish between those images that he received and physical reality. But he also mentioned that they were certainly not hallucinations. So this is one of many things he said that point to his telepathic ability. More on that later. He also said that he was able to transmit these images that he received into the mind of someone else in a different room, which absolutely points to telepathic ability. But of course, back then the term telepathic didn't exist yet because it wasn't coined until 1882, when Nikola Tesla was only 26 years old. So in this video, I'm going to lay out the specific mindsets that I gleaned from his autobiography. And these mindsets open us up and open the door to these psychic abilities. I'm going to demonstrate using examples from Nikola Tesla's very own life that psychic ability is real and show you how these mindsets that I'm going to describe will help you open up your own psychic ability. So, can you really be clairvoyant? So, being clairvoyant means that you see objects or images, pictures, maybe like little movie clips in your mind that you see vividly that go beyond normal perception. 99% of people, either they're not open to receiving these images, or if they do receive these images, they just write them off as imagination. Just about everyone has the ability to be clairvoyant, but most people are not open to the ability. They just brush it away. But more and more people are waking up to who they really are and embodying their true power. And I want all of us to be a part of that. If you can embody the mindsets that I lay out here today, you will deepen and discover your own innate psychic abilities. So the first mindset is having faith that we are all part of the divine. Specifically, a belief in something higher than ourselves, belief in a source that created everything, that we are a part of that source. Nikola Tesla, who received the ideas for his inventions in the form of images, believed that everything we are comes from the divine. He believed that everything that we are comes from outside of ourselves. Tesla said this: mental power comes from God, from divine being. And if we concentrate our mind on that truth, we will become in tune with this great power. Tesla developed an entire system for inventing that he did completely with his mind. Every single adjustment, every single possible failure of the invention, he worked every possible scenario out in his mind before he ever even created any machine or anything. Eventually, Nikola Tesla discovered that the inventions that he received were not out of his own creativity, but they came from an outside source. And one might call that source God, or they might call it source energy or higher self. Tesla said this: "Sooner I became aware, to my surprise, that every thought I conceived was suggested by an external impression. Not only this, but all my actions were prompted in a similar way." He believed that he was receiving ideas and inspired action from an outside source. I personally believe that it's our connection to source that allows us to be telepathic or clairvoyant or psychic. But I also believe that we are dulled to this connection. And I believe that on a whole, humanity, society is asleep to who they actually are. And therefore, humanity has more or less dulled this capacity within themselves. We are all aspects of source energy, and we're all connected to each other. And we can be guided by this source or this higher self when we're open to that connection, when we're open to receiving this guidance from higher self. That's why I believe the number one mindset to have to open up your psychic ability is this faith in that source outside of ourselves, greater than ourselves, that we're a part of. Okay, on to mindset number 2. The second mindset is this: everything is one thing. We are all connected. So Tesla said this: "Though free to think and act, we are held together like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable. These ties cannot be seen, but we can feel them." Tesla was quite convinced that we're all connected. We are connected because we're a part of the divine. And we're connected because all of us are energy. We're made of energy. Everything around us is energy. This desk, that light, me, my mind, the wall, everything is energy. And because we're all connected energetically, it makes sense that we can communicate and see into all that is, given the right circumstances, of course. So if we're all connected, this is a weird concept, but everything's connected. All possibilities, every timeline, even the past, present, and future are connected, all happening in the present moment right now. So when your mind is tuned correctly, you can tune into different points in it, all that's connected and all that is, and you can see clairvoyantly when you're tuned in right. But to tell you the truth, this is actually not any more complicated than your cell phone or your computers. Your cell phones and your computers are all connected via a network. That wasn't true a generation ago, but now you can see that it is, that we can all be connected. All electronics are connected, right? And if we are, in a sense, like electronic, we're energy, right? Then we can all be connected too. So those technologies, the cell phones, the computers, the radios, they all have receivers and transmitters, and they can pick up and send signals in their own way. And I believe the human mind works the same way. It can receive and transmit signals, but more on that next. Tesla was really specific about how he received inspiration, how he received improvements, and also how he received the details of his inventions. He said that he received the inspiration from a source outside of himself. When Tesla was struggling to find the solution for the invention of the induction motor, he was walking along with a friend and reciting some poetry when all of a sudden, like a flash of lightning and in an instant, the truth was revealed to him. He said, "I drew with a stick in the sand the diagrams of my motor. 1,000 secrets of nature, which I might have stumbled upon accidentally, I would have given for that one which I had wrestled from her against all odds at the peril of my existence," he said. He believed that nature herself had given him the solution. He also believed that nature and all things in it are a greater part of the whole. Nikola Tesla also said this: "When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole earth will be converted into a huge brain, which in fact it is, all things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance." So he called that one right. Not only this, but through telephone and telephony, we shall see and hear one another as perfectly as though we were face to face, despite intervening distances and thousands of miles. And the instruments through which we shall be able to do this will be amazingly simple compared with our present telephone. A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. So do you guys know of any invention that we have in these days that you can carry in your vest pocket? What is so amazing to me is that Tesla basically, in one statement, foretold the invention of cell phones, TV, Zoom, and Zoom calls in one fell swoop. So where did Tesla get all this knowledge and foresight? Well, he already told us. He said it comes from outside himself, from the divine, which we are all a part of. So you are part of the divine. That's why I firmly believe that if you embody these mindsets that I'm talking about here today, that you will be able to open up your psychic ability, and you will be able to have the same foresight that he was open to receiving. And I also believe that if you have embodied these mindsets, that you will also be able to telepathically transmit as well as receive. Okay, mindset number 3. I've talked about this a little bit before, but understanding that we are all energy. The universe and everything in it is energy. All the universe and everything in it, these physical objects that we have, is actually energy that's slowed down enough that we can touch it and see it and feel it. Nikola Tesla said this: "So astounding are the facts in this connection that it would seem as though the Creator himself had electrically designed this planet." Science has known that our brain cells function and communicate using electronic signals. And indeed, those brain cells that we have are actually made up of atoms, which are also energy. So is it really too far out to believe that if our brains function on energy, that they could also transmit and receive that energy? And if they're able to receive this energy, they could receive information from beyond our current awareness. And if our brains could transmit information energetically, that they could transmit data to the brains of other people. So Tesla has this to say to the doubters and scoffers: "All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. Let the future tell the truth and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. The present is theirs. The future, for which I really worked, is mine." I personally believe that we have already begun to make great strides in understanding this phenomena. And I believe that the study of quantum physics is going to reveal more and more as time goes on. Having the mindset and understanding that we and everything else in the universe is energy opens our mind to the possibility that we can receive and transmit energetic data. From my understanding, the way that psychic seeing, feeling, and sensing actually work is by the transmission and receiving of this energetic data in various forms. In my case, as a psychic, what happens to me is I receive pictures in my mind's eye, which is clairvoyance, and feelings, clairsentience, and all the various clairs that exist are one form of energetic data or another being received by the psychic. Okay. On to mindset number 4. Mindset number 4 is be willing to leave space or time for meditation and being alone. Meditation or being alone and having a clear mind are, in my opinion, key to receiving clear data from the field. So Nikola Tesla had to say this about how important alone time is in order to receive clearly. He said this: "The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. No big laboratory is needed in which to think. Originality thrives in seclusion, free from outside influences beating upon us to cripple us and to cripple the creative mind. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born." And I would say, be alone. That is when you're able to receive information the most clearly. So the reason a clear mind is so necessary is because in our daily lives, energy is coming at us in all directions from everyone around us. The energy that's coming from others can obscure our readings. It can obscure what we're seeing. So that's why being grounded, doing energy clearing, and being alone where you're not influenced by outside energy is important when you want to get a clear reading. It allows you to separate what you're seeing from all the outside noise. Okay, mindset number 5 is be willing to practice. There are no one-sided coins. If you feel led to and excited to use your psychic ability, that means on the other side of the coin, there is someone out there who needs your services as a reader of this very important information. There's someone that needs you out there. So that's two sides of the same coin. So if you're wanting to be a reader, be a psychic, or use your clairvoyant ability, what you need to do is stop being so concerned about yourself, stop being so self-conscious, and just be of service to others. Think about what you can give them and what you can share with them instead. Because there's others out there that are waiting to receive your gift, and there's others out there that are waiting to connect with you. If you have that impulse in your heart, then you can be sure on the other side of the coin, there's someone waiting to receive that. So just be willing to practice. Mindset number 5. You'll change, you'll improve, you'll get better, but you will never get better if you don't start, obviously. You have to start somewhere. And if you're doing that, then at that moment, you're giving the best of yourself, the best that you can. You're being of service the best that you can. And if you serve, you will be served in return. So ask yourself this: do you believe that you have the ability to read others and to receive information, energetic information from the field? Do you believe that that's a capacity or capability that you have? Do you feel in your heart? Do you feel led to read others? Do you have that energy in your heart that you want to provide that service to others? I believe that you have the capability. And if you believe that you have the impulse, that you're inspired to do it, I have something that can help. Just find the video below in the description or click here. There's a video that I go through step by step how to open up your psychic ability and do a reading. Also, just want to let you guys know before I wrap up this video, I love hearing from you. And if you have a question or comment, drop it below. I read each and every one and I reply to them all. So that's it for this video. Bye.